talk about this draft and what we think's crazy and see if people get offended. See how soft everybody is. I might spend my last. I have $73 that's not allocated right now, so we'll see if I can just spend all that while we're on air. Okay, let's see if everything's popping up.
I'm looking at it right now.
Which one are you looking at, Facebook or Twitch or?
Facebook.
Anybody in there ready to chat or what?
Not that I can see, no. Oh, 3 people. Must be us.
I'm not in there yet. How you guys doing out there? Give us 1 second here. We're just making sure everything's firing up all right, and then we're going to get straight into talking about some Dynasty Fantasy Football.
There is one player that I want to touch on specifically with you two, and that is Tyreek Hill. So, whenever you're ready.
We will talk about him. How about getting a little bit closer to the camera?
Oh.
You're like fading out into the abyss there. All right, we're good to go over there. I'm going to check YouTube real quick. We're good to go over there. All right. How is everybody doing out there? If you're in any of the chats, why don't you let us know that you can hear us all right? Don't want to get too far into the show and then you'd be like, I can't hear you. Hawkinson just went up in my division. I might have to go put in a bid on that boy. Who's out there? Somebody tell us you can hear us.
Tyler Lockett just went up to 63, so I'm going to have to be out on him.
Loud and clear, they say. Right on, right on. You said he went up to 63?
Yeah.
Is there any way to check how much players are going for in your league?
Yeah, if you go up to transactions and then you can choose auctions, you can look at opening bids, or you can look at auctions that have finished. And then right next to it, you can select which division. Do you see that?
Oh, transactions. There it is. Okay. Transactions, show me transactions for all involving any franchise in the last 30
Yeah, but
days.
you gotta, where it says show me transactions, you gotta change that down there into auctions or auctions 1, whichever you want to look at. And then you can see everything you can go look by division or whatever you want to do.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to look at it.
All right, so we got some people in here. Jeff, Cody, how you doing? Doug says he can hear us loud and clear, so we're coming in good. And Brian, how you guys doing? I think all of you are in the draft. How are your teams coming? Let us know. Well, first off, we'll talk on a little bit of news. Came out today that Cam Newton is going to be cleared. He's going to be able to throw. I know there were, at least early on when people heard about the injury and the surgery, there were people that were skeptical of whether or not he was going to be ready to go by training camp, but it sounds like he's going to be ready to go. Bridger, where do you got Cam Newton in your quarterback rankings?
I still have him top 10. I'm a little nervous about his injury, but, I mean, he's still a guy that wins you weeks, and he's been really consistent. I don't know when the last time was that he didn't finish top 10, so.
Yeah, he's consistent year to year, but he's got them, like, peaks and valleys during the season a little bit. That's the only thing. Like, I would rather have a quarterback that, like, plays even keel week to week. Um, but yeah, you got to worry a little bit, kind of like the whole Luck situation where they thought he was coming back, thought he was good, and then hurt,
Yeah.
and then basically 2 seasons where it was kind of a lingering thing. So that's the only thing I'm worried about personally. What about you, Chris? What are your thoughts on Cam Newton?
Not so high on him. He had the one good season there, and then I haven't been a firm Cam believer since then, really, to be honest, just for a fantasy perspective. He's not somebody that I'm holding my highest regard, per se. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely a better fantasy option than an NFL quarterback. But with the rushing yards he gets and the rushing TDs, he does. I mean, I'm pretty sure at least like 3 of the last 5 years he's been top 5, not just top 10. But he takes a lot of hits too. So them shoulder injuries and everything that got to worry about that a little bit. I think. Okay, there was something else I thought I was going to mention, but apparently not. Let's jump right into it. We got this auction draft going on. For those of you out there watching that don't know, 96 teams. We've got 8 divisions, 12 teams every division. The season plays out. We play weeks 1 through 12, get through the bye weeks, and then week 13, the top 4 teams in every division play, and the high score moves on to the conference champion or the conference tournament. And then that lasts for 2 weeks, and then the winner gets into the championship game. What has your draft been like, Chris? And do you love it? Do you hate it? Or are you just completely confused?
Like we talked about before we went live here, I think that my division draft has gone exactly how I would have drafted. Top 5 wide receivers went for around 200 to 225 range. The top running backs between 200 and Barkley being at 250 in our league. And then Patrick Mahomes going for 300, which didn't expect him to go that high, but expected him to go higher than what I thought. And then, for the most part, it's pretty much going how I thought it would. So I can't say I'm surprised, but we'll see how the rest of it goes. I don't want to give away too much because I'm currently bidding on players. So
yeah, we won't give away who we love and who we hate, and especially with guys that are on the board. But we'll talk a little bit about some of the draft picks that have been made, and not just our draft picks, but we'll look at some of the prices across the league. First, I want to say hey to Joshua. And Jamie and Taylor just got in here watching, so I want to say hey to those guys. It must be nice to understand what's going on because I don't understand what's going on. I think this is my 3rd auction draft, and none of them have been even close to similar. This one obviously was going to be a little bit different because we had that tight end premium wrinkle in there. But I mean, my draft's going different than I thought it would. What about you, Bridger?
Yeah, I mean, it started off about how I expected, with top guys going 200, a little over 200. I got my first Saquon Barkley share, which I'm excited about, at 240, which was cheaper than I thought I could get him.
What?
So I'm happy about that. But yeah, so far I've drafted a whopping 3 players, and haven't had much luck since then.
So who do you have paired up with Saquon? For one, you got him for a fantastic price. That is.
Yeah, I think I got him the cheapest in the league. So
that is
happy about that.
I was happy. I got him at 260, and I was happy. And you saved $20. That's a killer deal there. So who'd you say you had with him?
I've got Mike Evans and James Conner.
Which that's a pretty good 3 to have to start. Nice. What about you, Chris? Who you got on your roster right now?
Well, I was a little disappointed when I realized how much I bid on Jameis Winston at the time. But my two quarterbacks are Deshaun Watson and Jameis Winston, and then running backs are Philip Lindsay and Joe Mixon, and then wide receivers are Tyreek Hill and Julio Jones. So pretty happy with how that panned out so far for me.
Yeah, that's a pretty good start. So, you guys, how much money you guys got left? I mean, Bridger, you might have it tied up, but you got
Yeah,
to
I
have some
mean,
money left.
let me check real quick.
What about you,
If
Chris?
if I win all my bids right now for what I have maxed out on them, I have $140 left. So I can live with that.
Yeah, that's. I think I have more players than you guys, but I'm sure you guys both have me murdered when it comes to the old uh, amount of auction dollars left. I've
Yeah, what do
spent.
you have left?
Well, right now I've got, and this is going to be funny for those out there listening. My quarterback right now is Jameis Winston. I got him for $66, which is just too cheap, even though I'm not a fan of Jameis. So I'll take that. But then I've got Barkley, Kenyon Drake, Damian Williams, Odell Beckham, Calvin Ridley, Allen Robinson, and Hunter Henry. So I think that's 4, 7, 8 players so far. And then I've got a couple bids in, and I got like $60 after that. So, this is a good segue into kind of giving my theory behind, especially these 96 team leagues, is like you've got to have a lot of firepower. So I went in knowing that I was going to try to get as good of a starting 10 as I could get, and then piece everything together after that. And it's not going to leave me with a lot of depth, but my rankings going in were Saquon number 1 and Odell number 2. So I got my top 2 players for 47% of my overall budget. So 260 and 210 for those two. I'll take it, and then hopefully I can get a couple bench guys that hit, that can fill in here and there, and hopefully it'll work out. But still a long way to go, and I need that second quarterback. Excuse me.
Yeah, I would like to get a quarterback. That would make me feel quite a bit better about what's going on. But yeah, I've spent $543 on those 3 players. Like I said, Saquon for 240, Mike Evans was 177, and James Conner was 126. So I was happy with all of those buys. Just since then, I haven't had any luck, but I'm currently winning 4 guys. All about 8 or 9 hours left on them. And if I win those 4, then I'll have a little under $200 left.
Have you had a lot of quarterbacks going in your division, or?
Yeah, but I don't think as many as some of the other divisions. We still have quite a few left on the board. But yeah, I mean, the guys that are up right now are Cousins, Goff, Garoppolo, Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan. And then after that, we've got Jameis Winston still left and a few guys sort of in that range.
Gotcha. Chris, how much did you say you had left?
Right now, totally spent. I have $680 spent. So
And how many players do you have?
6.
6. So average is
About 110.
Yeah. I think I figured mine up, and it was about right around there. It wasn't far off of that, but I'm gonna go through some of these prices. Okay, so first, I know this one first, and especially since Bridger and I both ended up winning Saquon. There was a lot of talk the first day of our draft here, because Saquon in another division was $376. $376. That's a lot of guap to spend on one guy. And here's the thing, though, is that you can say about whoever bought him, but somebody else had to bid at least $375 to get him to $376.
Yeah.
with the proxy bidding. So there were a couple guys in that division that were really, really hot on Saquon Barkley. I mean, could you ever see yourself spending 37% of your auction budget on one guy?
No way. Nobody in my division went close to that. The most expensive in my division was Patrick Mahomes for 252.
252. That's pretty low. I mean, not. I mean, for the normal. I figured basically one guy in every division, and whether it was Mahomes or Barkley, would go close to 300.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured both of those guys would be above 25% of the budget. Um, but I definitely couldn't go over 30% for anyone.
Yeah, that's a lot to spend on one guy. Brian Hooten says that's my division. We like to spend our money. Yeah, yeah. Brian, I got to know, were you the one that bid 375? Let me know. I'm gonna pull up these auctions one here and all the divisions, and then let's see if.
Someone just outbid me on Dak Prescott, so I'm back to not having any quarterbacks.
But you're back to having a lot more money, right?
Yeah. I mean, they bumped him up to 77. My proxy was 76. I don't know if I can go above that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would there. Not if you have a lot left on the board. Okay, so let's look. Like Hopkins and one went for 270. I feel like that's a little bit high.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
For myself personally, me and my co-owner, because I have a co-owner with me on this because I'm in a bunch of fantasy leagues. Yeah, no, we kind of had ourselves that we weren't going to spend anything over 20% of our budget on a single player. So, yeah, I just couldn't see us spending. Like we were shooting for Mike Evans, but he went for 215 or something in our league, and that was just too much for us. So, couldn't do it.
Yeah, let me look at. Let me see if I can search for all of our Mike Evans here and see what prices he went for everywhere else. Mike Evans. Wow, you said he went for two something?
Yeah, 215 or something.
He's went in 7 leagues, and in the first one that popped up, he went for 135. I'd be all over that.
God.
Yeah,
that's
that's
crazy.
cheap. 155, 213, 177, 151, 170, 176. So he was typically right in that 170 range. And then your division must have been the 213.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, 151. Let's look at Saquon here. Barkley. He has went in all 8 divisions. 228. That's cheap as balls. How did he go for 228? We have such a large range on Saquon from 376 to, I'm guessing 228 is going to be the lowest as we go through these, but that's nuts. Congrats to Anthony Leone, or however he told me to say his name. 255, 240 for Bridger, 376 to the Vulture, 291, 260, 295, and 250. So I think he was typically in that 260, 255 to 270 range. So there was really only one outlier on the bottom end and one outlier on the top end. Crazy. Out there, 135. Oh, Brian Hooten said he got Mike Evans for 135. You're lucky.
Goodbye.
You're lucky. out there, anything that has surprised you guys out there? Why don't you chime in the chat if you're in the league, or if you're not in the league but you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, shoot a message and I'll get back to you on how you can get in some of the upcoming leagues that are going to start up. They're probably not going to do another 96 team league. We already have 3 of them, and it's a lot to handle. But I do have some plans for some more leagues coming up. And for anybody that's out there watching in the Facebook group, I'm gonna do some of them guillotine leagues that MFL has up. So I did see Tim Peffer in here. If you haven't done it yet, make sure you go to dynastyowner.com and sign up for their beta group. Just today they launched their mock draft, so you can see how the salaries and everything work and see their draft room. But 2019 is a beta season, so make sure you're one of the first 1,000 to get over there and register. Tim said that the first 1,000, there's a $99 fee, and it's waived forever for the first 1,000 beta users. So make sure you go over there, tell them that RotoHeat sent you, and it's a new take. It's very interesting the way they're doing it. So it doesn't hurt. It's not going to cost you anything. Check it out. And if you have any questions, Tim Peffer is in the Facebook group, and he'll answer questions. He wants everybody to understand what's going on. All right. So there was this very interesting situation that we had today in one of the divisions. We had a player that just he nominated his first 2 guys when we started the draft, and then he was bidding like Friday night at 10:30. He was bidding on Mahomes, and then complete silence over the weekend, like nothing. Then I had a couple guys that are in another league say that there was a religious thing going on this weekend where he had to turn his phone off and couldn't get on the computer or whatever. So we thought he was going to be back today. Well, 3 days into the draft, 75-ish players off the board, and this player was never around. So decided couldn't wait any longer. For one, it's not fair for the other 84 teams in the league that 11 guys are scooping up all the players in one league, making all 11 teams potentially stronger. But it was fun because they've got this full board of 24 players, and I throw in the new guy that's got $1,000 left, and half the board goes away just like that. And they're all like, oh, man, that backfired. So that was an interesting, that was one where I wasn't 100% sure what to do. And I think it worked out, but it was definitely a different situation. I've never had anybody, and hopefully he's all right. Hopefully nothing happened to him or anything, but never had somebody just ghost after starting a draft and disappear. Let's look here. Jeff Gerlach, who was last week's active member, won his first 2 years paid. Congratulations, Jeff. Bridger picked you, and now you're in his division. So,
and I regret that decision big time.
Do you regret it? Does he
sniping everybody?
He's sniping everybody, starting everybody over, starting that clock over. No wonder why you guys.
I'm not worried about the time. He's just taking all the guys that I want.
Jeff, he's gonna make you pay. He's gonna make you pay. Cody says, I valued Barkley. He said Devontae Adams. Jeff said Devontae Adams went for 144 in one division, I think. That's super low.
To Rob.
Sully?
Yeah.
Well, okay, for one, Canadians.
So shout out you dick.
Canadians, we spend in USD in these. So you don't have to be so frugal. Just spend your money. It was so funny watching the guys go in their draft because it was so low. It was so low at the start, but I think it's catching up now because they've got so much money left. Like, you guys don't get a rebate for having 40% of your budget left at the end of the draft. Nick Goyle, welcome to the stream. Cody said, I valued Barkley at 250, but I did not bid on him. Well, good, because you're in my division, and 260 was perfect. I was happy with that.
What did you guys? What did Tyreek Hill go for roughly on average?
All
He
right,
went,
I will.
he went 130 in mine, which I thought was really high.
Yeah,
I just know it's a sensitive subject along a lot of the RotoHeat team. And
okay, I want to make this clear before we get into this conversation. The guy's a dirtbag, but you know
No.
what? Well, no, but what I'm gonna say is, I like winning fantasy, and it doesn't mean that you support somebody if you have them on your roster. But there's got to be a certain price, because there's just even if he only misses 6 to 8 games this year, there's still that like future, like I don't know, I don't trust him anymore.
Yeah, I mean, anytime he could be done, so it's just really risky.
You know, there's a difference. Like a lot of people with Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon, after the first 2 times he got suspended, was like dirt cheap. So it did, like, if even if you bought him, the upside outweighed the risk. I still think the risk is too high. The price is too high for the risk with Hill in a lot of cases. But we're gonna go through here and see the first one that pops up. He was 151. There's no way I'm spending 15% of my budget on a guy in that situation. We've got 130, still a little high for me. 156.
Damn.
Wow.
101, which is probably like the top end of what I would spend, and that would have to be, that was you, and that would, but if I was deeper in a draft and I had already got some guys that I wanted, then I could see myself taking that risk. But that would be probably the top end of the amount that I would spend. I don't think it's ludicrous.
The only reason why I paid, I just figured he was too cheap, because if, exactly like you said, the risk reward, like, given what we've heard so far about him, and he's not going to get charged. Who knows what the NFL is going to do? I mean, 6-8 game suspension, sure. We were able to get Julio Jones for $122, so even if we do get a 6-8 game absence of Tyreek Hill, then we still have Julio Jones we can lean on until Hill comes back, and then we got Hill and Julio for the same price that Michael Thomas went for in our league, my league.
I still think there's a decent chance that Hill's gone for the season.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, unless more stuff comes out, that might be the top end. And obviously KC is sticking by him, which is it's crazy to me. After that tape came out, after how quick they got rid of Hunt and whatnot, but it's not just the games missed for me now. Now it's, if anything else happens, nobody's touching him, because like we talked about yesterday, Chris, the difference between him and somebody like Josh Gordon, like Josh Gordon isn't physically hurting anybody else.
No.
Tyreek has one instance for sure, whatever this instance was. And here's my thing. If you are a parent and your other half is hurting your child and you don't speak up about it, you're just as guilty as they are. That's my opinion. And there's a 3-year-old kid in this situation that no matter what, whether it was him or whether it was her or somebody else that's in that house, nobody spoke up for the kid. And that's what bothers me. Every person that's in that house, every person that's in that situation, involved in that situation, is guilty. That's how I feel personally. But
Absolutely.
that's why I won't. That's why I won't spend, like I said, like I could see myself spending around $100 if other stuff lined up right and taking that risk. Because I mean, obviously he's going to give you points. I want to win, so if I can get him, and I feel like everything else is working out, but I wouldn't be able to go much higher than that personally. But another person got him at 101. That was in my division actually. Cody Butt got him for 101. That was it on him.
Thanks for making me feel like a piece of shit now, Rick. Thanks.
No, why? I told you that I would own him. I could see myself paying that. I'm not gonna. I mean, a lot of these guys are dirtbags. You know, we don't
Yeah,
know
I
the
know.
dirt. We don't know the dirt on a lot of them, and that's not just in the NFL. That's NBA, MLB. A lot of them are dirtbags. But I'm trying to win fantasy games. If I can get them on my roster for the right price, then I will. It doesn't mean I support them. That's the thing that some people need to realize. Like it's, you're not like a, you're not going out and buying his jersey.
No,
You
yeah,
know what
for
I
sure,
mean? Like
absolutely.
if you told me that you just went out and bought a Tyreek Hill jersey, then I might call you a dirtbag.
I have a
Um,
son of my own, so I'm not about that. I'm not about that life.
right? I hear you there. Um, what other players we wondering about out there? Tell Bridger to stop bidding on OJ Howard. That's what Kevin Kloss has to say.
Oh,
Kevin Kloss needs to just go away.
Go away, Kevin. Go
o-
away.
OJ went for, I want to say something like between 90 and $100 in my league, and I was just taken aback by that. But tight ends have been going for a pretty premium price in my division, besides Fant, who just went for 35. So
Gosh, I wish I could have got Fant at 35. I'd have been all over that. Jamie Sands says Devontae Parker is comeback player of the year. Now, Jamie, I told you this last night. To be the comeback player of the year, you had to have been somewhere to come back to. So I don't think he can be comeback player of the year. He might be able to be most improved player of the year, or hey, thanks for finally showing up player of the year. But I don't think he can be the comeback player of the year. The hype train will never die on Parker. At some point it will. It might not be till he dies, but at some point it will. Okay, OJ Howard, first one up, $68. 80,
So cheap.
85, 90, 81, 68, and oh, we're back around. So 68 was the lowest. He's went in 4 drafts so far. 68 was the lowest, and then he's been in that 80, like 70, what was it? 85, 90, and 81. So averaging like 88 besides the outlier.
Yeah, I'm winning him at 86 right now, so
Seems about
that's
right.
that's top dollar. So Kevin, just stop.
Yeah, I got to check this one cuz Hunter Henry, I feel like I got him like dirt cheap. He went for 92 here. I got him for 70.
that's a pretty good deal.
I like
What
OJ a lot more than Hunter Henry, so
he went 72 there. See, I don't like him a lot more. Not a lot more. I probably like Hunter Henry more. But he went
wow.
90 and 85. I still think like I still think that OJ is Hunter Henry just runs routes. And OJ has to block a lot because he's such a good blocker. Like he's such a good NFL tight end. I just don't know how consistent he will be since he's such a good blocker. And
See,
and I think they're going to use Brait too. I don't think Brait's just there to look like a dummy.
my take on it is that Braid is just a vulture. Like, I couldn't. I mean, yeah, sure, OJ Howard can put up these numbers. He's super talented, whatever. But Braid is just a vulture. I play in one redraft league specifically that I've been in for almost 10 years, and yeah, like it's just OJ Howard in our league has almost no relevance at all. Like I think I had Brait last year over Howard just because of his touchdowns. I mean,
There's
that's
no question that OJ is the more dynamic player. It's just he's so far he has relied on big plays. His really good games, he's had, 60-yard touchdowns and stuff like that you don't see out of tight ends very often.
Yeah, he
Um,
averages 16.5 yards per catch.
yeah,
Which is
he's
a
so
lot for a
you know
tight end.
he relies on them big plays and I don't know, like I've said I'm not big on Winston, and it's funny because he's the one quarterback that I have right now, which doesn't, like, I don't feel good about, but I feel good about the price. Um,
you can't
let's
feel bad
see.
about Winston just because I felt bad about him too, but Bruce Arians is a quarterback god, and I've told you this before, Rick. I think that Winston turns out to be the guy that he should have been, and
Let's
he's going to be super awesome.
so do me a favor here, real quick, and name these quarterbacks that Arians a god for working with.
Oh, want me to name him? I don't have a list, man. All I know is Carson Palmer is the latest one, but NFL Network had something on when I was watching it on Good Morning Football, and there was quite a few that they had on there. So
Well, Carson Palmer was pretty good too.
After being really bad in Oakland.
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
he was
but
trash.
who? Okay, since Rich Gannon, who's been good in Oakland?
Well, no, that's fine.
Carr for 1 year. 2016 was a really good year for Carr, but really, have they? I mean, has anybody else been good in Oakland since Rich Gannon?
No, nobody has.
It's been bad.
My thing with Jameis Winston is I've loved him all along. I really loved him coming out of college. I've loved him pretty much up until this year. Now he's a little bit expensive for me because he's still sitting as borderline top 12 quarterback as far as ADP goes. And I think he's got legitimate top 5 potential. But if he doesn't do it this year, he could be gone. I mean,
Yeah.
this could be his last chance. So there's just too much risk with him now.
And that's what I said. His price tag was the thing that worried me. He's got talent. He's a physical specimen, but he lacks it up here in the head. And that's something, we seen Jay Cutler. He was the same way. Like, he literally had all the tools. Okay, wasn't the best runner, but he was a decent runner. But he just couldn't figure it out upstairs, and that's the problem for a lot of these guys, and that's the hardest thing to fix.
Did
But
Jay, sorry, I'll just say, did Jay Keller have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard that he was able to throw to?
he had Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey in their primes.
Fair enough.
And Matt Forte out of the backfield.
Matt Forte out of the backfield. He had Demarius Thomas in Denver before he came over. It was a young Thomas, but yeah, he had some good receivers. He also had Martellus Bennett at tight end when
Fair enough.
Bennett was pretty good. And then he had Devontae Parker when he went to Miami.
A lot more talented than Cutler.
Do what?
I think Jameis Winston's a lot more talented than Cutler.
I don't know, man. Cutler had a lot of physical skills and had a great arm, but like I said, upstairs though, it was just hard to watch because you'd figure that at some point you would learn that you can't just throw it up. And
yeah, Winston's a moron. But I feel like he actually likes football. I'm not sure that Jay Cutler really did.
And that, I don't deny that at all. And I'm not sticking up for Jay Cutler. I'm just saying the guy's, he's kind of like, us Bears. We got Rex Grossman, who had a hell of an arm, but didn't have it upstairs, turned the ball over way too much. And we had Jay Cutler. Had a long time of just turning the ball over. And we get rid of Kyle Orton, who wasn't a good quarterback, but didn't turn the ball over. William James says, Bruce Arians is a quarterback god because he has coached Peyton Manning, Big Ben, Andrew Luck, and Carson Palmer.
Yeah, all those guys are really talented. There's no doubt about that.
And that was the point I was getting at, is that, it's easy to dub somebody the quarterback whisperer or the quarterback coaching god, but he's been fortunate. He's had some pretty damn good quarterbacks also. Yeah, so Winston has went for 41. That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, that's really good.
96. So we've got a big swing here with the first two. 88, and then me in the middle at 66, and then another 86. 41's really low.
I think it'll be like that with any of these QBs, though, just because QBs are going to be valued way more in some divisions than they are in the others, whether it's Jameis Winston or not.
Oh, no, I agree with you there. Yeah, 100%. And especially, like, the division where I had to replace somebody, where Colin went in, they did not they hadn't had a lot of quarterbacks come off the board, so now he's in there like scooping up a ton of quarterbacks with his big budget, and they're all like, "Man, I wish we would have had quarterbacks go earlier." They were going to get good deals on quarterbacks because they went with everything else, and that kind of ruined it for them. But Cody says, "I believe that Bruce Arians just took what he learned from Peyton Manning and spread that around to these other guys." That is an interesting take because I don't know if anybody knows the quarterback position as much as Peyton Manning. Like, I don't know if anybody's studied it as much as he does. He'd probably be a really good quarterback coach.
He's Moses, yeah. He's Moses of the quarterbacks.
Tony Romo's up there. He didn't have as much talent, but man, he's got the knowledge.
No, he definitely does have the knowledge.
I could sit there and listen to Tony Romo call plays all day.
I love it. I know some people get annoyed by him, but I would love to hang out with him. I made fun of him as like his whole career, making fun of all the Cowboys fans. But I think he would be fun as hell to hang out with. Okay, we've got let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot. Brandon Marshall was in Denver.
Yeah.
With Jay Cutler before he came to Chicago too.
He had that. What was it? 21 catches in a game.
Yeah, yep. And then Eddie Royal had a couple big years there too, with him. Let's see. He didn't play with Thomas? I thought Thomas was like a rookie or a second-year player when Cutler left. I could be wrong.
We will find out shortly.
Well, Cody's a Denver fan, and he's letting me know. He's making sure I don't speak ill of his Terrell Davis.
I'm not sure that Denver fans can be trusted, though.
I don't doubt that either. Brian Hooten says Colin wrecked the plan. By far, Romo is definitely up there.
Yeah, they didn't play together at all. And Demaryius Thomas didn't do anything his first couple of years anyway.
Yeah, I know. He's one of them, when we say you got to wait 3 years for your wide receiver, Demaryius Thomas is a perfect example of that. You heard them talk about him a lot, and they said that they really liked him, but he wasn't doing anything on the field, and then when he blew up, he blew up.
Yeah, and he was a stud.
He said he replaced, I think Thomas was drafted with Tebow. He replaced Marshall. We drafted Thomas over Dez. Man, I don't remember I don't even remember what year that was.
2002.
I'm going to look up Noah Fant here because he was a guy that I was targeting going into this. And I was very disappointed that he went early in my draft because his price was a little inflated. I see Spider-Man got him for $35. He just spun his web and caught him in there for $35. Cody Butt, you got him for $91.
Oh my God.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And he went for 60 in another division. So that's like a weird 30, 60, 90. He goes, I feel I overpaid at 91 when I heard 35.
Yeah.
I would have made you pay more than 35, but less than probably 60. So what other players have you guys seen that you thought were going to go either a lot less or a lot more? I know Chris says my division's like I knew everything before it started, so all the numbers are where I thought they were going to be, but was there anybody that was an outlier for you, Chris?
I'll tell you in about 6 minutes here after I win this, if I win this bid here, I have it.
Probably my biggest surprise was Keenan Allen. He went at 118 in my division, I think. And all my money was tied up when he went, so I couldn't bid.
You're going to think this is crazy then.
What did he go for, 85?
Darcy, this is the Canadian division, I believe, which this kind of,
This doesn't count.
lets us know because he was at 95.
Okay.
Harry Trotter got him for $70.
God.
What?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Fat Thor paid 121. Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, got him for 95. Rick
Wow.
Faulkner Sr. got him for 116. And then Sailing the Seas of Cheese got him for 118. And James Vanderkoon got him for 126. But $95.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
118 in my division. Keenan Allen went for 118, and Amari Cooper's got like 4 hours left at 151, and I just can't understand that.
See, Amari Cooper went for 161 in my league, and then Keenan Allen went for the 121, I believe. So
Maybe people are just low on Keenan Allen.
I would have them right around the same price.
Yeah, me too.
And
I have Cooper a little higher just because of his age.
yeah, and I mean I don't have like exact numbers of what I would pay for either of them. I'd probably pay a little bit more for Cooper, but it wouldn't be very much at all. But he went for 107 in my division. So Laura, congratulations. Not happy that you just outbid me on Sammy Watkins. Chris Wolf got him for 123.
Who's this, Amari?
Amari.
Oh my god.
Appetite for Destruction, 120. Andy Pearson, 131. Captain America, I'm guessing that was your division.
That's Sean, yeah.
Yep, he got him for 161. And then Broly again. Broly. So we just said he got Keenan Allen in the last one. And right here I see he got two back-to-back. He got Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper. So that's a pretty good three receivers he's got there. But he paid 146 for Cooper. So,
And see, like, the thing was that I knew these guys were going for cheap, but I wanted to have some money for the later rounds here, so I couldn't spend it.
somebody brought up Le'Veon Bell going for 100. Let's look at his prices because he's a polarizing player as well.
Yeah, I think he went for about 135 in mine, and honestly, looking back at it, I think I would have bid on him. Actually, I think it was like 141 or something.
Yeah, he went for 160 or 165 in mine, and yeah, I should have bid on him too.
We've got 150 to Doug Kearns, 142 to Robert Carter. Mike Sumnick got him for 120.
Oh my god.
Jack Wagon got him for 130. Xander Miles got him for 130. We the North, $100.
Sully's division.
Maybe they are. You guys are the North.
Jesus.
Rick Slape in my division got him for 124. I Am Wolverine 160. Doug Kearns 150. Is that where we started? Yeah, that's where we started. Yeah, so 100 to 160 range there.
See, and I think 160 is pretty fair for him, just because, I mean, we've had many debate about this, but like you said, volume equals production, and he's going to get the volume, so he's going to get the production, so it's a pretty safe bet that he's going to be a running back one. And I mean, you got a running back one for $100. That's a pretty good deal, I'd say. And he's 27, missed last year, so you can knock a year off of that. Relatively speaking, suspended for, 6 games or 8 games, his second or third year, so.
He's still got a lot of wear on his tires. I wrote the article at the beginning of last year about running backs the year after having 400 touches. He didn't play that season, so we don't know how it would have played out. But they're
He read your article.
Yeah, he's like, I better sit out this year, or I'm gonna lose myself money. He's gonna get so many touches this year. He's gonna be a running back one, barring injury. He's just gonna have way too many touches. He's gonna probably get 250 carries, and he's gonna have, I would bet, close to 100 catches.
Yeah, at the very least, he's going to be like David Johnson last year, like a back end RB1, just with 350 touches.
Yeah. So, but that's what worries me long term. So if you get that out of him, and if I drafted him this year and won a ship this year, I'd probably move him in the off season.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Any other guys that you guys are looking at, and what questions you guys have out there in the streamer verse is what we'll call it, I guess. Any questions? Anybody you guys are wondering about?
I just got Cooper Cup for $49.
What?
That's so stupid.
I just got him. That's what I was waiting for. Yeah, I just got Cooper Cup for $49.
That's dumb.
I'm not even a Cooper Cup fan, but he's a 71 in mine, and I'm tempted.
Yeah. I mean, that was a steal right there that I thought was another steal that I got.
Yeah, that's a steal. I'm big on Cooper Cup. Everybody knows that. I have been forever. But that's just nuts to me. Congratulations, you're lucky.
And then if you come back to me in 6 hours or so, I might have another one for you.
No, well, I'm not gonna stick around that long. I got work to do.
No, there's a game on, so I gotta go too here.
Yeah, Jamie says, feel like I stole him at 100. I think he was talking about Le'Veon Bell there.
Yeah.
Marlon Mack, that was the guy I wanted, but I was too afraid to pay the price for him. So.
What about Darrell Henderson?
Don't talk about him right now.
Okay, Marlon Mack. Deadpool got him for 73.
My division.
Can't touch this. Got him for 90. Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. I feel like I've said his name a million times. Who was it? I said two. He got Cooper and Adams earlier when I was talking, right? And yeah. I said, and we already talked about Keenan Allen. Well, he's got Mike Evans right above him too. So he's the guy that got Mike Evans for 135. So he got Keenan Allen and Mike Evans at the same time. They came off the clock at the same time, and he got them for a total of 230.
Oh my God!
And Marlon Mack cost him 20 less than the 95 Keenan Allen cost them.
Oh.
Marlon Mack for 82 to Rick Faulkner Sr. Jason Roca in my division got him for 76. He went for 100 to Michael Jester Mack. He went for 73 to Deadpool, so we're back around to the beginning. And I know that Ryan Corbin says if it holds, I'm getting Williams for 66.
Corbin, you better watch yourself. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, snipers.
I'm glad about that life.
Okay. Brian, is that you? The Broly Super Saiyan? Is that you, Brian?
I think he said earlier it was.
Did he? I must have missed that. So just was
I'm not
curious
positive but I think so.
Just was curious what he was going for. And you asked about Henderson?
Yeah. Darrell Henderson.
All right. Joel Garcia got him for 55. That's nuts. Darrell Henderson's going for 55, and people got Marlon Mack for 75. So that just blows my mind. 70 to Video Killed the running back star. That's a great name. I had to jump in the chat and tell Tracy that I thought his name was awesome. And then Mike Sumnick got him for 25. So there's a pretty big gap there.
I wish I could get him for $25.
Jeremy, I can't say your last name. Ogilvy, maybe? Ogilvy? $32. and we're back around to the first one. So that's a pretty big difference. Jamie, Golden Tate has not. I don't think he's went in any so far. No, he hasn't went yet. Alshon Jeffrey, 44, 30. So he's went for 44 and 30 in the only two that he's went in. And Golden Tate hasn't finished in any. He might be up in some, but he hasn't finished in any.
I don't like Ashton Jeffrey, to be honest with you. Not a fan.
At that price, I like him.
Yeah,
Not even. I mean, not even.
Oh, I do, absolutely, at that price.
I mean, it's different because there's some guys in my division that are just going for around the same price as that. Like,
well, you can have more than one at that price.
It's true. Like Allen Robinson right now is $48.
Well, I would definitely rather have Allen Robinson, but at $34, Alshon could be a high end wide receiver 3, a back end wide receiver 2 this year.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any. I don't think anybody's saying he's going to be a wide receiver 1.
No, I like Brian Hooten there said I can't. There's just something about him. I can't take him. Couldn't do it.
I would definitely take a shot on him at 34. I think actually one of these were might have been my division. Yeah, he did go. He went for 30 in my division, but I probably had all my money tied up.
Yeah, I'd take him at that price for sure.
Absolutely.
But he was really good last year. He just didn't play the whole season.
Yeah, he's been really good since like the first 6 games in Philly. But he has had, the injuries or whatever. But for $30, you don't need him for 16 games.
And he's been switching between 2 quarterbacks, one of which is really good and one of which is not.
And one of which really likes him, and the other of which really likes the tight end and the slot receiver. Let's see what we got here. Couple people saying they're not touching Alshon and Tate. I mean, I don't know that there's so much better talent to spend for the $30 guys. Like, I don't think we're gonna see a lot of like stud $30 guys. Worried about Cohen's role with David Montgomery in the mix now?
Yes. That's the short answer.
I kind of thought that we were gonna differ on this. Now, I'm not worried about his role. He's gonna be very active with the Bears, but I don't know what that does fantasy wise, because I think he's gonna play out of the slot. I think they're gonna line him out wide. I think they're gonna do some really kooky stuff with him and Cordarrelle Patterson. Nagy likes doing some really weird stuff.
See, that's the reason why I've stayed away from any Bears players at all, just because from a fantasy perspective, it is what it is. But I don't see any downtick in Tariq Cohen at all, actually. I think that Cohen and Montgomery are going to be a great fit together. And Cohen should see or do about the same that he did last year. So,
yeah, his role is going to be completely different. He's going to catch less out of the backfield, but they're going to do like Tyreek style stuff with him. And I know Sully, he actually sent me a video. I watch Nagy's press conferences all the time, and I don't know if anybody else does, but Nagy is like, he's just great, but he is very open about how he just wants to confuse the defense as much as possible, and moving Cohen all over the place is how you can do that. Because if you get him in a spot where there's a linebacker covering him, there's like nothing you can do. What's Burton's value money wise? About $350 is what Ryan Corbin says. Honestly, I don't know. They're going to use him. He's going to be on the field, but they do spread the ball around a lot, like Chris said. Now, Allen Robinson for $50, I'm taking a shot on every time. He is going to be their number one. But after that, like in 2019, it's going to be hit and miss with everybody else. Anthony Miller's going to have a big game here. Burton's going to have a 2-touchdown game here. And you're probably going to have a couple 100-yard receiving days by Cohen. Gabriel's going to have a big game here and there, but I think the only one that's going to be consistent week in and week out is going to be Allen Robinson, and everybody else is just going to be like up and down. So it's hard to put a value on him, but it's the guy behind him that I would be targeting, Adam Shaheen, long term in Dynasty.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
The way that Bears offense is, Rick, attesting to what you're saying, I just think that it's going to be like Allen Robinson's going to have a big game one week, and then it's going to be Anthony Miller again the following week, and then it'll be Tariq Cohen the following week, and then it'll be Riley Ridley, and then it'll be Montgomery. Like it's just too all over the place for me, man.
It won't be Riley Ridley, not this year. I doubt he plays a whole lot, but I get what you're saying. Excuse me. Here's the thing that people forget about Allen Robinson is that last year he was coming back from that injury from a year before. Whole new system, whole new quarterback. And towards the end of the year, he started looking like that Allen Robinson that we seen that played really well in Jacksonville. So I think that's going to carry forward. They know he is their number one. He's going to be the guy that gets the most targets in that group. And I think he'll be consistent. And then everybody else is going to be hit and miss. And everybody knows how much I love Anthony Miller. Like long term, I love Anthony Miller. But I don't think 2019 is his year. But I think he will end up the number one there in a couple years. About 350. What other players you guys wondering about?
Has Julian Edelman gone anywhere?
Yes.
He went in mine.
I think he went for $33 in mine.
Really? Because the first one that popped up was 78, so that's a pretty big difference.
78 for Edelman?
He went for 78.
That's insane.
If you're trying to win this year, okay, so the same guy got him for 78 and Lockett for 86. But if you're trying to win in 1 year, like he's going to put up numbers.
Yeah, I like him. I was just curious. He's sitting at 29 in mine, and I'm getting a little low on money with the guys I have on the board right now, but he's really tempting.
Edelman, 41. He went for 49 in my division. 33. That must have been in Chris's.
Yeah.
Are we still live here? Are you guys still out there? Let us know if you can hear us. My Cubbies go ahead and hit 2 home runs in the third. That's nice. Are you guys still out there? It dropped from 10 to 9 to 8. That's not a good sign. Pick up. 78. That's the first one that we've seen. 78. Yeah, you're still live. Okay, cool. My screen froze. I don't know is your guys' video working?
Yep.
Loud and clear, Ryan says. Come on, talk up. Let us know that you're there when my screen freezes and then nobody's chatting. I'm like, oh, no. Brad Menendez, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, Brad, what's going on, bro?
Brad comes in here. It says Brad Menendez joined, and then he's just silent. I'm surprised that he doesn't come on a Monday night and liven up the chat like I do on Thursday nights. Sometimes I think he gets frustrated with me, but you got to liven that chat up. All right. Do you guys have any other players you're wondering about? While I've got them pulled up here. Ryan Corbin says I'm making a sandwich.
What has Cohen gone for since we brought him up?
Oh.
He's still unnominated at mine.
Okay, the first one, he went for 45. Then he went for 86.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't pay that.
Then he went 61 and 59. So he only had that one. this is so interesting to me when you see those outliers in different leagues, and then it would be interesting to go through everybody and see like if one outlier on the high end like correlates with somebody else on the low end. You know what I mean? Like Cohen went for like 20 more than he normally goes for, but then I don't know. Damian Williams went for 20 less than he was, averaging in the other ones. I'm wondering if I guess there's got to be, unless just a bunch of people go for like $2 less.
Yeah, I mean, Cohen's sitting lower than all of those in mine right now, so that's surprising.
Yeah, especially since you're not in the Canadian division.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Canada, if nobody else has anybody that they're wondering about, we are going to go ahead and sign off here. Chris is anxiously waiting to watch Toronto blow this 3-1 lead now that Kevin Durant's back. What was that?
Toronto's going to end it tonight.
No, I think Toronto's going to win the series for sure. And I hope they win. I would love to see them win. But I just thought I would throw a little dig there at Chris.
Throwing a little shade, yeah, that's fine, man.
The resident Canadian on the show tonight. Okay, one more question here. This is going to be the last one because you guys didn't speak up fast enough. So Ryan Corbin says, Pettis or Shepard been nominated in any? Thoughts on their value this year?
Pettis went really early in mine. I think he ended up selling for like 75 or so, which was high to me, and I am a Pettis fan. I think a lot of people are concerned about Pettis with Debo getting drafted, but I still think he's going to be the number one there this year, and then we'll see if they do anything about it next year. But I still like Pettis a lot.
I'm a lot higher on Pettis now than I was a year ago. So he showed me a little bit of something last year that I liked, and but I wouldn't pay 80 for him, which is the first number that he went for. That's the only one. It's the only one he's finished in. He went for 80. So we don't know if that's
mine.
Don't know if that is going to be an outlier or not. And then he asked about Shepard, who I haven't seen in my division, I don't think.
Nah, he hasn't gone in mine.
Yeah, not mine either.
Shepard has finished in 1, and that was $59, which I think is probably about right.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, probably about right. I mean, I got Calvin for 55. I would personally rather have Calvin, but I think that they're pretty close probably price-wise.
Yeah, I'd say so. Calvin Ridley's sitting at 52 in mine. So yeah, I would expect Shepard to be in that 45 to 55 range.
Yep. Same here. Okay, so I like Cohen, but got bid up too much for me. Kevin Kloss asked how much was that. I don't remember exactly. I think in the 50s. But it was budget related. All right, we're going to go ahead and call this a night. Thanks for coming out and joining us, everybody that came out and watched on Facebook or Twitch or YouTube. Thanks for chatting with us and asking questions. We will be back next Monday. Not sure what the topic's going to be about. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about this draft because we'll be another week deep into it. And it won't be finished.
It'll be a little more structured next week.
Yeah, it'll be a little more structured for sure. But as always, Thursday night, 9 p.m., Brad Menendez. He's been going solo. Wish I was better at IDP so I could jump on and help him with some of that. But the Dynasty Roundtable, Thursday night. Sully's 2 Cents podcast drops every week, so look for that. And then we've got Kevin Kloss with the Dynasty Blockheads. He's been dropping his episodes, so make sure to look for all those on RotoHeat.com. And go to RotoHeat.com/Facebook community, I think. I don't know. I have all the links there scrolling across the bottom. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube. Join the Facebook group. Come have some good conversations about Bridger leaving Walter Payton out of his top 5 running backs of all time, which is just ludicrous. Any last words, fellas? Chris, thanks for coming on. Your first time on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
That's it?
All right.
No words?
Thanks,
You're just
guys.
ready to watch Toronto, huh?
Oh, yeah, ready to give her. Can you not hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All
I
right.
said thank you, and I appreciate you guys having me out here. It's awesome.
All right. You enjoy that Toronto championship there, whichever night it is. It's happening. I believe it. Bridger?
Yeah, thanks for coming. Hopefully we'll be more structured next week and talk about a little more in-depth stuff other than just the auction.
Absolutely. All right, fellas. Have a good one.
All right, man.